Welcome everybody, Future Now here. We're going to mix it up today. We're going to try something a little different rather than some gameplay. We're going to look into the patch notes of the patch that dropped a few days ago. Just briefly go over the nerfs and buffs of the champions. Some you'll see in top lane, maybe jungle if you play jungle Mordekaiser. Some have to do with champions that you're likely not to see until later game when you're doing team fights, but we'll go over that briefly, touch what these changes mean for Mordekaiser against your matchups, certain items, as a Mordekaiser player, do you need to be worried? So we'll go over that here in a bit. The new champion that came out, or is coming out, Nila. I'm not exactly sure entirely what she's done. I've already forgotten her abilities rundown, but when I did go over it, I don't really see her as being too much of a threat to Mordekaiser. As a theme, it seems like Riot, when they release a champion, they do tend to be overpowered. So at least in the first few weeks, be cautious around her, because they tend to be a little heavy-handed in damage and being a little bit on the OP side. But once they get tuned in with nerfs and whatnot, I really don't see her being as much of a threat. Unlike this Belveth champion that came a few, last patch before, she has just been steamrolling, and not just across the game, even in 1v1 matchups. Early game, you seem to do okay against her, but come mid game, late game, she just absolutely shreds through you. Her healing and attack speed is ridiculous, and so you got to be cautious and kind of use your brain when you fight her. If you can, take her into your ultimate when she doesn't have her ult up, because that is a big key factor in being able to take her down. And secondly, you got to be location aware. Are you in the jungle? Is there tight walls near you that she can hop over? Because she's definitely going to take advantage of that with her multiple dashes that she has. So, she's getting a nerf here, and based on the games that I've seen so far, it's definitely helped, but she's still a champion that can stack up against you in a duel. So you want to play cautious, play smart, and don't discount her as a champion. But we'll go through these. Amumu here. Amumu isn't one that you have to worry about damage-wise, but you definitely need to be aware of the CC that he provides for the team. And based on what we see here, it has to do with his mana and his damage. So I don't think there's going to be too much of a difference in how you fight against him, because Mordekaiser is extremely tanky. He self-mitigates a lot of damage. I don't think this is going to heavily affect him. If this change had to deal more with cooldowns or something, it'd be a lot different. But I don't expect too much of a change when fighting against him. Let's see. Same with Annie, except for this Tibbers buff, the base health of Tibbers, magic resistance going up, it looks like here. That bear is pretty tanky. It could change things, make it a little bit harder, to deal with that bear, and if it gets dropped on you in a team fight or something. But as Annie herself, I don't know. It still gets capped at 220. There you can see the damage. So I don't think there'll be too much of a difference there. Belveth though, you got your basic attack range. Is that going up? But health regen going down, which is big. She had insane health regeneration, coupled with her attack speed. You could just do straight damage to her, and I dropped an empowered isolated Q on her, which does immense damage based on how much AP you have at the time. And I did not even see her health bar flutter because of how fast she was getting that health back. It was insane. But we got that health growth, regen growth going down at level 18. Big nerfs will definitely help out. Her passive here New. Belveth now gains 1 lavender stack per large minion. So... Okay, so this went up. Attack speed per minion? Is what it looks like. Or no. No, that went... They tightened the ratio of it. It starts at 0.28, but it gets capped at 1%, where before it would go up to 1.25%. I'd still count that as kind of a nerf. Because early game, maybe she did need some help. She does seem kind of weak early game. But reducing that later game, later game attack speed will definitely help out in your fighting against Belveth. I don't know about this one. I don't really know too much about her, about how her stacks really, help her out. I don't know if a stack is different than those things she picks up on the ground when a champion dies or a big monster. I've never played her yet either, so. But I think it definitely promotes her attack speed. So this makes me want to behave cautiously around her, I guess. This is kind of a scaling thing. It's not like something you're gonna it's gonna show up in a fight. This is something that you're gonna see throughout the match, I guess. So something to keep an eye on, take mental notes of. Her E, I think that's her tail slap. Okay, that got reduced, the damage. Not really. Wait, minimum damage per hit. Yeah, that got reduced. I don't think that's too big. This one's really, really nice for us. Again, that just ties into that healing that she does. She has less healing here. Void Remora health. Yeah, I mean, her minions are annoying, but I don't think they're too much an issue. Like it, usually when you're fighting her, it tends to be that you're gonna ult her, and those minions won't go into the ult with you. But I don't remember registering the minions as being too much of an issue. So, because all your abilities that you do and all your attacks are area of effect attacks, so it's attacking multiple things at once. Your passive, especially, is constantly doing damage to everything around you. I mean, your Q and your E, so you just basically splash damage them to death. No real. I don't know. I don't think this one affects Mordekaiser matchups too much. Alright, Blitzcrank here. He's getting buff to damage and damage. I'm not too scared of that. Mundo can definitely be a difficult one with his passive. Being able to cancel out your ultimate. Health regen is going down. That's nice. Maybe might be able to help you secure a kill in early all-ins. Maybe help you out with I don't know. He likes to be one of those champions where he does a lot of damage and then he tries to escape with like 2 HP, kind of like Singe likes to do. So maybe this will help you secure more of those kills on him. Increased base health is going down. That's really nice. I mean, that kind of times in the same a little bit. This is, I think, more helpful in being able to secure early kills. So Fiora, this is an important one because she's a classic counter to Mordekaiser. Bonus true damage per. Okay, so this is nice. I don't think this is going to affect us too much. The extra true damage. What makes Fiora difficult really isn't her damage, it's her mobility, those dashes she does, her parry, her healing, but not really her damage, not even really her true damage. So, I mean, this is helpful, yes, but don't expect to just be rolling over Fioras anytime soon. Heimerdinger, kind of annoying person to bump into with his turrets, you know, having to navigate around those, because those things are constantly firing on you as you're trying to lumber up to get him if he's your target. Turrets have more health, that's kind of annoying. Electron Storm Grenade, huh? That's a big one. I think this is the one that stuns you. Expect to get more CC dropped on you if they have a Heimerdinger on their team. Be conscientious about maybe taking Merc Treads or Force of Nature based on what the enemy team comp has. You want to be aware of that, of the CC that they have, and this will basically allow him to get more CC off on you in the game. CC is a big enemy to Mordekaiser, so always something to be on the lookout for. Ivern, almost never see Iverns anymore. Health cost, mana cost, nothing really affecting us there. Shield, okay, he's getting a buff there, but I mean, that's not gonna affect how we fight him. Daisy though, let's see. Daisy's kind of in the same category as Tibbers. He's getting buffed up. He's gonna be tankier. It'd be harder to take down. Yeah, something you want to be aware of. You don't want this big lumbering monster coming up and beating on you while you're trying to, you know, get whoever you're trying to get to. The thing about Daisy and Tibbers, you got to be cautious of them. They can do quite a bit of damage pretty fast, but when you ult somebody, they don't come into the ult with you. Or if you ult somebody and they spawn them in your ult, I don't think they come out. Is something to keep in mind of. So if you're good and you know how to, you know, navigate around Daisy and Tibbers, it's not really an issue. But that's not always the case. Where this becomes more of a problem is in team fights, where there's multiple people on both sides fighting, and there's a lot to take into account. Yeah, and you can also use your E to kind of slide them around. But yeah, just keep in mind they're going to be harder to deal with, take more damage to take them down. Won't hurt you too much in duels, but in team fights they're going to be sticking around longer. Janna, I don't think there's really anything in here that's gonna... Oh, slows, okay. Movement speed is decreasing a little bit, so it might be easier for you to catch her. She's one of those champions that likes to be hard to catch. Slow is decreasing. That's really nice. That's good for us. That's less CC to lock us down. And shield, that doesn't really affect us. Jarvan, mana. What's his passive? I think it's extra damage to basic attacks or something. This one gives a little bit of concern if that is what his passive is. You might see Jarvan's having more aggression and prio late game, being able to do more. Usually Jarvan's one of those champions that kind of falls off halfway through the game. This will definitely keep him in the game longer. But it's a TBD next to that one, to be determined by how much he keeps in the game, how much that helps him out. We'll have to wait and see. Jarvan is kind of a nasty one early game. or it can be if it's a good Jarvan, it can be. But yeah, we'll have to see how this affects later games, games that last longer. Katarina's a nasty one to play with because she hops around constantly. Damage is going down. Nice. Wait, but damage is going up? Wait, okay, so her passive bonus AD ratio is going down on her passive, but her E, which I don't have a clue what it does, is going up. That's damage going up. Physical damage per dagger 12.8 per 1, 16 per 0.7 attack speed bonus AD. So this I think is kind of a buff. On hit effectiveness. So overall this kind of just looks like a buff to her. More damage. Be cautious. She really isn't one that, as long as you can lock her down, she's not really a problem if you fight her 1v1. In a team fight though, you know, all that damage stacked on top of you at once, it's definitely something to be aware of. Keep your distance from her if you're not very familiar with Mordekaiser and how to lock her down. Champions with high mobility like that can definitely really hurt Mordekaiser, because you're really reliant on getting those abilities procced off. Base AD going down. Cool. Damage is... Wait, that looks the same. Oh, going down. Okay, less damage from Lucian. That's not gonna change too much for us actually, because what's difficult is catching him. But cool, that's being reduced. Cooldowns going down. That, or no, it's just being adjusted to a flat 10 seconds here. I don't know. That makes it a little bit easier for us in late game. We don't almost never run into her early game, so I think overall this is good for us. Her slow stun duration is going up to 1.5. Awesome. So this is one that affects her cooldowns of her CC. So this will definitely help us out in team fights in later game. That little bit of time in being able to drop those abilities might be, you know, what makes or breaks a fight for us, team fight in later games. So cool. That's a cool one. Shaco. That doesn't affect us really. Q damage doesn't really affect us. Jack in the Box, magic damage. So that's all damage related. That's honestly not gonna affect us too much. He's not somebody that can really just burst us to death on his own anyway. Singed is an annoying one for Morty. If you are one of the champions that, you know, get tilted by him and like to follow him. But if you play smart, you know, are constantly aware, he's not too difficult. Where he really strives is, you know, if he can't get you, he can get your team. And being that he has that speed, it's hard for you to, you know, be able to be there for your team to help, you know, like corral them and get them safe, I guess. Or to latch onto them to put them down. Let's see, slow is another one that's, or no, it's getting, instead of being a flat 60%, it's starting at 50 and it's going up to 70. Okay, well, overall, I actually don't like that. I think this helps him. Early game, I don't think he's nearly as good. If you play well, I don't think he's that scary. It'll help people that are less familiar with Mordekaiser be able to latch onto him, put him down maybe. But where he really shines is in later game, in those team fights. And even just, even outside of team fights, his value really shines in later games. So this is something to be aware of, not great for us. I don't think it'll turn... Actually, it's hard to say. I think this gives him a lot of value pushing it up an extra 10%. So be cautious playing against Singed in these games to come. He's gonna be slowing you for quite a bit. His R bonus stats, it's gonna make him tankier, harder to put down. Don't fight him. Don't, you know, if he tilts you, don't, you know, just get blinders on and focus onto the Singe, because he's gonna be so much harder to put down now. But at least in the later game, he's gonna be easier to put down in the early game, but much harder to be put down in the later game. Okay, Soraka. No longer removes grievous wounds. Cool. That's okay, I guess. I don't know. Grievous wounds got reduced in this patch or the last, but overall, that's a really good thing for us. Unless she's on our team, but grievous wounds. Mordekaiser doesn't do nearly as much healing as people think, I guess. I think he does heal. Where his healing really shines is if the other team is made up of bruisers or tanks, you know, that they like sustain fights, and, you know, the fights are long, so you're constantly proccing that damage. You're constantly getting that Omni Vamp going to get that health in. A lot of the time, you're really not getting too much out of your healing, at least as much as people think. So, grievous wounds against us, not a big issue. Not really. So, but let's see, the heal, yeah, looks like that's going up for her, so that will be, I mean, that's just her ult. She can only do that once every so often, so I don't think this is going to affect too much. This is kind of big for some people, but I don't think so much for Mordekaiser. Viego. We have our base heal upon possession, 2.5% to 2. Okay, that's cool. That's really nice. Stealthy stuns, casting E, Harrow Pass, Wildcatch. No Ongler instantly stealths you. Okay, that's nice. I don't think that changes too much for us, except for maybe, you know, if he's trying to escape from us, it's going to be a lot harder for him to do that, be able to pull off that trick. And our physical damage is getting nerfed. Awesome. He's not really someone that, if he gets fed, he can stand toe-to-toe to Mordekaiser, but 2 out of 3 times you put him down fairly easily. But this just makes it so much easier. So, awesome. I'd like to see that. Yorick, he's a big boy. He's somebody that can stand toe-to-toe to Mordekaiser. But it depends on how you play. You got to be constantly aware of that maiden. And this will increase the health of the minions and the move speed and the maiden. Oh, that's a huge mark target chase range. Okay, that's good, I guess. But this is a massive one to Yorick. If you're facing a Yorick top, you have to be vigilant about, you know, knowing if he's gonna pop out those minions, or, you know, being constantly aware, is his maiden out, or does he have that ult ready to pop? Yeah, this is not a good one. This is not a good one for us. This is a great one for Yorick players. I would be very, very, very conscious. I play defensively, get poking where you can, but if it's gonna cost you getting hit, if you know you're getting hit by those minion splash thing that he likes to do, if his maiden is out, you need to play very, very passively. I would personally, if I was fighting Yorick in top lane, I think I would try to get him at least, you know, 2/3 of the way, or half of his health gone, maybe at a minimum, but I would try to get at least 1/3 of his health gone by poking him down where I can here and there. and then try to call my jungler in for a gank if it's possible, or try to get him close enough to tower that I can like use my death grasp to push him into tower range and ult him right there. It just kind of depends. But if you have to do a 1v1 duel, try to get him at least a third of his health down, and make sure he pops his maiden outside of your ultimate. Because if he pops it inside, I want to say it comes back out when he's outside. That might not be true. That might not be true. What I can tell you is this: if he survives your ultimate, when he comes out, he's going to be healing up very fast off of that maiden. That maiden does a lot of damage, so you want to get in as much poke as you can before you take him into your ultimate. If you can kill him inside your ultimate, then you can deal with the maiden separately. But honestly, I'd say be passive, be cautious, and play off your jungler. Play off your teammates. Be able to lock them down with an ally if the if there's an opportunity for it. If not, you need to play off of your surroundings. Play off of your tower, or minion waves. If you can stack up a minion wave, try to have your be on the offensive, so he's taking lots of damage from your minions. These will be things that can help you take him down. Yuumi shield is increasing. That's annoying if she hops on a big bruiser, but only if you don't have ultimate up, because as soon as you ult somebody with Yuumi on him, Yuumi just gets kicked off. Zumi's healing's going down. Okay, I think her heal is more important to her than her shield, so that's going down, it looks like. And movement speed is increasing. Overall, I don't think that's really going to change too much. It's kind of a adjustment, increase and decrease, so that won't change fights too much for us. Zeri, health regen. That doesn't really affect us, I think. Damage is increasing a good amount. And let's see. Yeah, damage is increasing. So she might be a little more of a problem. But I've never really found her to be too much of an issue. My advice when dealing with Zeri is don't fight her if you're in the jungle. You might feel like you got her locked down with her ultimate, but she can scoot over walls and then basically just nullifying your ultimate because you won't be able to reach her. So if she's very, very, very good at kiting and making you miss abilities, this will definitely hurt you because you're going to be taking a lot more damage per second. It might be worth looking into getting a Randuin's when fighting her, possibly a Thornmail. That one's got an asterisk. It depends mainly on what the team comp is, who's doing the most damage, yada yada. But Randuin's might be more of an item you look into building for Mordekaiser when fighting Zeri moving forward. Night Harvester, not an item we use for Mordekaiser. It can be used on Mordekaiser, but literally it's just, if there's a situation where you would be using Night Harvester, you might as well just be using Rocket Belt instead. You can get more value out of it as Mordekaiser. That's just affecting the gold of it. Doesn't really affect us. Serpent's Fang. No longer applies additional shield reduction. Cool, that helps us. Kind of a nerf to Serpent's Fang, but again, I don't think it's going to change too much because Mordekaiser, right, this is the item for assassins, and assassins are like the lowest priority fear of Mordekaisers, right? They fear us. We don't really fear them. But I mean, sometimes we should. Depends on the game state. But for the most part, assassins aren't really someone that we're too worried about. This will make it easier for us to put them down, which is cool. Shadow Flame. This one is something that we should pay a little more attention to. Shadow Flame's additional magic damage based on ignored MR is no longer mitigated by target's MR. Gotta read that again. Additional magic damage based on ignored MR is no longer mitigated by target's MR. Okay, so that makes it. This makes it sound like it's getting buffed up here. This might make it so mages are going to be doing more damage to us. I don't know if this is something that AP bruisers take, but that's where it'll hurt us the most. I think is AP bruisers. Maybe high CC mages, like or high range high CC mages. Whatever the case, this sucks for us, but I don't know that it's actually going to be doing too much extra. I don't know. This doesn't sound like a huge buff. It sounds like a pretty small buff, but not good for us. But maybe not affecting us too much. Predator. We're nerfing Predator. Cool. Going down. Damage. Going down. Cool. Huh. Cool. This is nice because champions that run Predator, you know, are running rings around Mordekaiser and his low mobility. This will definitely help you be able to catch those people. They're really annoying. For example, Singed. This would be a really nice one to. I've been seeing some Singed Predator Singes, so be able to help you nail him down. Don't know too many champions. Maybe Hackerum. We bump into him. So this is a cool one for us. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I think that's really all of it. Upcoming skins. I don't think there's any Mordekaiser ones that I saw. And yeah, so that looks to be the patch. Big things to take away are be very, very, very cautious of Yorick if you're playing top lane. Let's see. The Belveth one is the other one I'd like to highlight. Just because she's getting nerfed here doesn't mean that, you know, she's easy pickings. She's still gonna do plenty. You gotta play smart when you fight her. If you're gonna duel her out in the open, in a wide open area, rather than in the jungle. And we don't want her to be hopping over walls, being unable to catch her, and basically making you burn your ult away. So, just things to keep in mind. Maybe I don't know. Those seem to be the two big ones there. The other ones weren't very heavy changes, I think. So I think that'll wrap it up, and I hope you guys like this. Keep tuning in. Thanks.